go for the final time. We are free! Contact! A terrible crash! And then there were 8 as the chase for the final Snickers Cup Series Championship continues on here on the NSRA Sports Channel. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here as we begin our 3rd round of the chase for the championship, chase race number 7. At the end of the day, we are going to be finding out just exactly who may have the upper hand as far as momentum here in what I believe is the eliminator round of the chase for the championship. And we started off here at Michigan International Speedway. 30 laps on tap today. Now these drivers, especially the Elite 8 chase drivers, are going to try and see if they can get to victory lane as soon as possible. They got here today, next week at Thornton, the following week at Talladega Super Speedway. If in any one of those 3 events, one of the chase drivers from the Elite 8 goes to victory lane, they automatically punch themselves a ticket into the season finale at Auto Club in the Final 4. But we're going to get ready for what's going to be an exciting race here today, I am sure. We've got ourselves a pretty interesting scenario, even with the Elite 8 coming into this race. We got a lot of former champions from other NSRA series, including here in Snickers Cup, drivers that are trying to get themselves another championship, but a lot of drivers that are trying to get themselves their first NSRA championship. We've got John Cittadino, Dougie Shears. Cittadino, 2-time Snickers Cup Series champion. Shears won the very first Snickers Cup Series championship. You've got Mobile and Cup Series champions in Sean Galligan and Austin LaPlante. You've got a Truck Series champion in Dylan Poteet. But you've also got 3 other drivers who have never won a championship here in NSRA competition. James Qualls, Jessica Shelton, and Cole Daly. Could this be their season? The field is narrowing down. We started out with 16 drivers. It's been narrowed to 50%. And we now know 8 drivers that will be battling it out for 4 slots, 4 coveted slots in the Final 4 in the full extravaganza race at Auto Club in the season finale. But we're getting ready here today for what should be an exciting race at Michigan, and we are getting ready to go green momentarily as Charles Jackson, Joshua Michaels line up on the front row. Both of them have not been to victory lane yet this season. As a matter of fact, Joshua Michaels has managed to get to victory lane at least 1 time each season. I think it's been for the past 5 seasons. So we'll see what he can do here, as he still is winless in that BMW team. And then alongside of him on the pole, Charles Jackson, former champion of this series back in season 7. Charles Jackson still looking for his first win here of season 10. Kyle Matthews went to victory lane last week. He's actually only the 2nd non-chaser to go to victory lane since the chase began, winning last week at Zenjoltis. He's going to try and go for 2 in a row. And alongside of him, Seth Cole, who was actually quite strong at Zenjoltis too, but wasn't up there at the front at the end. He's still looking for his first win of the season as well, as he is currently in the 4th position for the starting of this race. And then rounding out the top 5 is going to be William Duncan's Dodge, as William Duncan was a 2-time winner last season, only Dodge in the field, and has yet to go to victory lane here in season 10. Highest starting chaser in this field, it's actually filling up row number 5. In 9th place will be Dylan Poteet, and 10th place Cole Daly. So they'll be the highest starters of the chase drivers, only 8 of them in this field here today. Without further ado, though, we're going to go down trackside as Michigan native Dougie Shears gets ready to give us those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
Command given, engines fired. We are underway here as they'll pull off of pit road onto the racetrack here in turn 1. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. That's your starting lineup for today's race. Only 8 drivers will be highlighted in yellow now. Those are your current chase competitors for this season's championship. Like I said, if any one of these drivers, Cittadino, Poteet, Shears, Qualls, Shelton, Daly, Galligan, or LaPlante, go to victory lane here today, it doesn't matter what happens next week at the Turn of Death Thornton or the High Banks of Talladega the following week. They're locked into the season finale's final 4 in this season's chase for the championship at Auto Club. So you can bet that those 8 are going to be fighting as hard as they can to get up here to the front, because how great would it be for them to know 2 things. 1, they don't have to worry about those difficult tracks we're going to be going to. And 2, they are going to have a shot at this season's championship. Only 2 drivers have already tasted championship victory lane here in the Snickers Cup, Cittadino and Shears. For Shears, it's been a long 9 seasons since he's done it. For Cittadino, he did it in Season 5 in his rookie season, then he did it again in Season 8. But you got drivers that have never ever won a championship, like Qualls, Shelton, and Daly. Those are the 3 I think you're going to see try and really fight their way to the front here today for sure, as we're about ready to go green here at Michigan. Charles Jackson, Joshua Michaels, get ready to get us underway. Green flag's out. We're racing here at Michigan International Speedway, and Michaels got the jump there on the start. Jackson did not get going, and the leader into 1 will be the BMW out of RGE BMW Racing. I do want to say ahead of time, if my commentary is not completely up to par with the excitement and everything, I am battling a little bit of a sore throat. I don't know if it's the dry air or if I'm actually coming down with something, so I beg your indulgence on that, but I will try and keep my commentary as up to par as I can, as Michaels is gone. Kyle Matthews now moves into 2nd, and leading the first lap will be the 04 BMW. Matthews trying to look for his 2nd victory in a row. Just last week with his win, he completed the sweep for Hendrick Daly Motorsports, where all 4 of their drivers have been to victory lane at least once now this season. Between the 4 of them, they've compiled a total of 6 victories. 3 with Jacob Lawler, 1 for Matthews, 1 for Lamas, and 1 for Daly. William Duncan right behind him. Let's see where our chasers are. Highest chaser right now, that's Dylan Poteet. Got his teammate Danny Wells just behind him. Wells, who was just eliminated last week at Zenjoltis from competing for the championship. Dylan Poteet was 9th last time by. I think he picked up a couple spots, didn't he? Yep, he's up to 7th. Cole Daly was actually the 2nd highest starting chaser. There he is. He's on the high side right now of Sean Henley, slipped back to the 14th position, trying to find a place in line just behind Stephen Pollard III, Richard Johnson. Back further here, try and find some more chasers. There's a couple battling side by side. Jessica Shelton and John Cittadino. I think this is actually a battle for somewhere around the 25th position. We'll see where those 2 cross. Shelton crosses in 23rd, so Cittadino must have been 22nd, and now Cittadino goes on the high side. Shelton goes 3 wide with Trent Dunham and Chris Dollerton. Looking further back, there's Sean Galligan. Galligan's really been on a consistent streak as of late. He hasn't had strong cars to compete for the victories, but he's been able to finish either just inside or just outside of the top 10. He's been borderline between 10th and 15th almost every week, it seems. And that's been enough for Galligan to move his way up into each round of the chase for the championship. But now, not sure if consistency is going to be what matters. It may be having to get to victory lane. And Galligan mired back in traffic right now in 29th. Way back here, a couple of chasers that don't want to get this chase off on the wrong foot. There's Dougie Shears. Was scored 36th last time by, and probably is going to be scored somewhere around there this next lap. Trying to go to the inside of Johnny Gardner, who actually got the wall there. And then the furthest running back right now, it's actually a battle for dead last right now between Austin LaPlante and James Qualls. This is not good for either one of these drivers, but it's still early here at Michigan. And Michigan is actually quite similar to other tracks in the form of that it will give enough room for drivers to be able to race 3 and 4, or 2 and 3 wide, I should say, not really wreck, and so it puts us into these long green flag runs, which means these drivers may end up going up into fuel strategy at some point in time of this race. Michaels continues to lead, then it's a battle on for 2nd. William Duncan will take it. Matthews back to 3rd, but now Seth Cole is there to challenge for that spot, and it looks like he won't be able to make the move as the caution flag is out. Caution coming out here on lap 6. So what looked like we were going to be settling into a long green flag run suddenly comes to an abrupt end. We ran 6 laps under green, and now we have our first yellow of the day. And I would be seriously concerned for drivers like Dougie Shears, James Qualls, Austin LaPlante, who were running near the back, whether or not they got through whatever trouble happened to put us under our first yellow. Looks like some skid marks there on the back straightaway heading into 3. Might have actually been just a single car incident from the look of it. We'll see if that's the case in just a moment, as it looks like the leaders may decide to pit here. Now, I don't know with pitting if they'd be able to make it the rest of the way. I doubt it. It looks like Joshua Michaels is fairly committed to coming to pit road. It looked like Kyle Matthews, William Duncan, though, they didn't want to come down. They're not going to. Michaels is in, Seth Cole, Tim Walsh, Danny Wells, Lyndon Wright. Looks like none of the chasers rolling the dice here. Yeah, 5 drivers. Oh, a couple more. See Trent Dunham. We can get to him. Trent Dunham and Chris Dollerton are both coming to pit road. But still no chase drivers coming to pit lane. And the leader giving up the top position to come down and pit. John Cittadino way back here. There's James McLeod. Wonder if the 72 and the 51 had anything to do with that caution. Also saw Benjamin Miles way back here and Levi McIntyre. Might have been one of them. More than likely, it would have been the 51, I would think, that probably was the one that spun and brought the caution out. Let's look at the rear of his machine. Yeah, pushed up a little bit there on the back of the Pioneer Chevrolet. I think it was James McLeod that probably spun there on the back straightaway and put us under the first caution. So maybe a single car incident, but it looks like John Cittadino might have gotten a slight piece of it because he's running quite a ways back. Maybe Levi McIntyre as well. We'll see now as we're going to take a look at the replay of what puts under the first caution. William Duncan is now the leader, staying out during this cycle of caution laps. Yep, they were 4 wide down the back straightaway here. Mongold, McLeod, London, and Cittadino. And they got to give each other enough room to get down here into 3, and unfortunately, they just didn't. London gets McLeod in the right rear, turns him up the racetrack right in front of John Cittadino. And let's see if Cittadino got any damage. He goes up and he scrapes the outside wall. And is he able to get his car down low enough? He is. So cosmetic damage maybe on the right side for Cittadino, but I think he might have gotten through there. And a great job by everybody to avoid the 51. A nice job by McLeod himself to keep that car up against the outside retaining wall and basically to face it still in the correct direction. It's reversed, but it's still in the correct direction. It's not at a 90-degree angle facing down to block up a lane of traffic. So McLeod and a number of other drivers dodge a major bullet there. McLeod with the damage, obviously, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough damage to take him out of maybe contending for this thing still. So that's what put us under the caution. A single car incident, a single car spin in turn 3 after a 4-wide situation on the back straightaway. Let's go back now for the green flag. Lights are out atop the pace car, indicating we will go green next time by, with a total of 20 laps to go. Lap 11 is when the green flag will come out. Now, Joshua Michaels was the leader when the caution flag came out. However, Joshua Michaels was one of about 7 drivers that hit pit lane during this caution flag, and as a result, he goes all the way from leading this race all the way back to restarting in the 32nd position. Now, I do have a little bit of a question, though, and that is why he is starting ahead of James Qualls, John Cittadino, because neither of those drivers, I don't believe, came to pit road. The only thing I can think of is that they were so far behind after the incident that Michaels was able to come down pit road. He was able to get his pit stop done, and then he left pit road ahead of those drivers. So he actually didn't lose as many positions as he probably should have. But as we get ready to go back to green, it is William Duncan the leader, second place Kyle Matthews, Charles Jackson is in third, James Silverfox fourth, and Stephen Pollard the third is in fifth. Right there are 4 drivers in the top 5 that still haven't found victory lane and really want to here this season. Highest running chaser is Dylan Poteet in 6th. 7th, Richard Johnson. 8th, Dylan Young. Cole Daly, another chaser, runs 9th. And 10th place will be Zach Buchanan as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As far as the rest of our chasers, let's see where they're going to restart. Jessica Shelton restarts in 15th. Sean Galligan in 18th place. Then it's going to be Dougie Shears 25th. Austin LaPlante in 30th. James Qualls 33rd. John Cittadino in 34th place. And that is it for our chasers. William Duncan, Kyle Matthews, they shot out of a cannon on that restart. That's the second time that Charles Jackson has not gotten a good restart. He held up Silver Fox and Stephen Pollard III that time. I don't know if he's spinning the tires or if he's just not timing it right, but the 54 is having difficulty on these restarts. He lost the lead when starting on the pole at the beginning of this race. And now he started 3rd on this restart, and he's going to drop all the way back to 6th, maybe 7th, as now Cole Daly goes to the inside of him. As a matter of fact, Daly's now the highest running chaser as Dylan Poteet got caught up on the high side, and he's losing valuable spots. Lost 1 to Buchanan. He's about to lose 1 now to Bob Jones. And here comes Jessica Shelton on the inside line, trying to get up there and battle Dylan Poteet. That would make her 2nd highest running chaser at the moment. Also forgot to mention coming into this race that John Cittadino and Dylan Poteet both had 3 bonus points with their victories during the last round. Dylan Poteet winning at Lime Rock, Cittadino winning at Richmond. So both of them came in tied for the points lead. Everybody else came in 3 points behind them. At the moment, though, it would be Cole Daly who'd be the points leader because he is definitely at least 3 positions ahead of both Dylan Poteet and John Cittadino. He's currently running in the 5th position. It's been a great run so far this season for Cole Daly. He, much like Sean Galligan, has just basically been consistent. He only had 1 victory this season, coming earlier on this year at Thornton. And since then, he's really turned up the heat on his good finishes, and Daly's really been strong. He had a great run last week at Zenjoltis, as did his teammates Kyle Matthews, who won the race, and Cody Lamas. He finished 1st, 9th, and 10th that race. And right now, Cole Daly is actually the only one of the Hendrick Daly bunch that is still in the hunt for the championship. Jacob Lawler eliminated last round. Cody Lamas eliminated after the 1st round. Right now, it is William Duncan's Dodge out in front. Duncan, who went for a wild barrel roll last week at Zenjoltis, now out in front here. And we're at the halfway point in this race. Let's look back here and see. There's Daly. He's now, they got him scored in 5th, but I believe he's 4th now. Yes, he is. Jessica Shelton now is the 2nd highest running chaser in 11th, and Dylan Poteet continues to lose spots as he's still stuck up on the high side. Now his Tweenix Racing teammate Sean Galligan tucks in behind him. That's, I believe, now around 13th and 14th place. And Anthony McCrory now goes under Galligan for position. Whoa! Almost some contact there between 2 drivers. That was Austin Mongold and DJ Curtis. Drivers battling for Rookie of the Year honors, and we're coming to pit stops again. William Duncan leads them down. Kyle Matthews is in. Chaser Cole Daly, I believe Dylan Poteet hit pit lane this time as well, and the lead now cycles over to the Volkswagen Jetta of Stephen Pollard III. There he is. He stayed out along with Bob Jones, teammates Charles Samper, Jessica Shelton, Sean Henley along with his teammate Sean Galligan. Cody Lamas also stayed out along with Mongold, Chris Washer, and then Joshua Michaels crossed in 10th place. Remember, he was the first of the cars to pit under our yellow flag, and now Stephen Pollard III is in along with everybody else. I would think this would cycle the lead over now to the 04 of... Oh, no, it doesn't. It cycles it over to Chris Dollerton. Chris Dollerton apparently got by Joshua Michaels under this run. He also came to pit road the same time that Joshua Michaels did. So he got by Michaels on track, and now he cycles around as the leader. There's Seth Cole battling with Joshua Michaels for 2nd place. All these drivers you see here, Lyndon Wright, James McLeod, they all came to pit road back on lap 6, going on to lap 7. Or no, lap 7 coming on to lap 8, I should say. So the question of whether they're going to have to come down and pit here again at least one more time is going to be questionable, as everybody else is leaving pit road. And Chris Dollerton leading this race. This is looking somewhat familiar. If you remember about 4 weeks back, No, it was more than 4 weeks. It was the first chase race. Oh wait, caution's out! Caution's out! But the first chase race at Chicagoland, Chris Dollerton was out in front for a good portion of that event, ended up going to victory lane, but now the yellow flag is out, and that could change the strategy of these drivers up here at the front drastically. Yellow flag waving. The top 8 came to pit road back on lap 7. And then from 9th on down, those drivers are now a lap down to the leaders. So an untimely caution for those guys, but for the top 8, this is perfect, as there's a lot of debris and smoke lingering just out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. And that must be what has put us under this yellow flag. DJ Curtis involved in this. John Cittadino. Oh boy, the 2-time champ may be out of it here early. Black smoke erupting from his machine, and he is out. Cody Lamas is also on pit road. Levi McIntyre, and another chaser in Cole Daly. So Michigan did not play as much of a factor early on into this chase, but now it has passed the halfway point. And look at Dylan Poteet back here in 31st. Has he got damage? He does. It looks like there's some damage on the hood. So now it gets super interesting, and Chris Dollerton came to pit road. Actually, all the lead lap cars came to pit road. Trying to get to him. Dylan Young was involved in whatever that was. He's got rear end damage. Dollerton, Lyndon Wright, James McLeod, Dunham, Michaels, Danny Wells, and Seth Cole all came to pit road. Tim Walsh as well. Whoa! Lyndon Wright just got spun, battling James McLeod off pit lane. And he's going to get it going, though, so close call there as McLeod and Lyndon Wright made contact coming off pit road. Lyndon's at least still, I think, going to get credited for either first or second. I don't know which he came out as off pit road, but caution flag is out. And all these drivers, I don't know if they're going to come. They're probably not going to come to pit road now because they just came to pit road. But they're all going to start on the tail end of the lead lap. I think your leader's going to be James McLeod, who ironically enough brought out our first caution of the day. And the second caution of the day puts him as the leader. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened. Well, we saw that incident with Lyndon Wright and James McLeod. Well, this is actually what happens during green flag pit stops. Cody Lamas and Chris Washer battling each other off pit road. And they get into each other, and Cody gets sent right up in front of, ironically, his teammate Cole Daly. Everybody scatters to the high side to try and avoid, and I think for the most part everyone does. But then the trouble's going to happen further up here. Cole Daly, there you see him, he is smoking. The car is basically terminally damaged. And as he comes down here on the back straightaway, I think drivers are not going to be realizing where that 88 is with the smoke that's erupting out of the back of his Mountain Dew Chevrolet. The question is, who is it that's going to clobber him? McCrory splits the gap between Washer and Daly. And this was certainly not what all these drivers that just pitted needed. Here comes DJ Curtis. There you go, right there. Brandon Gonzalez makes the first hit. DJ Curtis gets into Gonzalez. And then the track just gets blocked up. Dylan Young has absolutely nowhere to go. Here comes Pichu London. Is he going to get through it? Nope, he's the one that jacks up the back of the 2 machine. And then just look through the smoke and see if he can find these drivers. Here comes Nathan Hudson, Joshua Collard, Johnny Gardner. They got through it. Dylan Poteet. Where does he get his damage? Right. Well, maybe he got through it. Guess he didn't get involved. Ryan Acosta gets up into the wall. Where's Cittadino? There's Cittadino. Who does he get? Oh, he just clipped DJ Curtis, and then Levi McIntyre with the finishing blow to the Husky Tools Home Depot Toyota. And boy, that all started over in turn 1 and found its way all the way over to turn number, almost at the entrance of turn number 3. And they definitely needed to throw the caution. Levi McIntyre up there in the racing lane, stopped. DJ Curtis down there, stopped. And there is Cittadino, who got involved in that, and Boy, 2 chasers just like that. This is almost shades of our first round race at Richmond in the our first race of the second round at Richmond, when we ended up having drivers encounter some problems like Jacob Lawler and Trent Dunham, and it was almost as if right then that was immediately a death knell to their championship hopes. Same might be said for John Sedino and Cole Daly now, who may undoubtedly now need to rely on victories either next week at Thornton or the following week at Talladega to be in the Final Four. We're under the caution for the second time today. We have only 8 drivers on the lead lap, although everybody else cycles back onto the lead lap, but should be a very interesting dash to the finish. Well, there's no doubt about it. This was certainly an unexpected turn of events here at Michigan. Everybody is back on the lead lap. However, the gap between 8th place and 9th place is somewhere a little between a minute and 40 seconds, as the top 8 are going to start at the rear of the field, but they are basically your contenders. If we have a caution, everybody then cycles back around and we'll have a big field. But these are the drivers. They're basically going to settle it out at this point. You got James McLeod, the leader. Lyndon Wright in second. That's the way they came off pit road. So Lyndon did get second place back after the contact between himself and McLeod, but McLeod did come off pit road first. Tim Walsh lines up third. Chris Dollerton fourth. Fifth is Joshua Michaels. Sixth place is Seth Cole. Seventh is Trent Dunham, and Danny Wells in eighth. None of those drivers are chasers. So the odds of a chaser going to victory lane here in the first race of the third round almost look very, very slim. We'd need to have a super quick caution for someone else to be still in the running. If you look all the way back here, there is your 8th place driver. Then you go to the front, and these are your drivers that are either a lap down or just on the tail end of the lead lap. Dougie Shears is actually off the lead lap, currently 1 lap down. Then you got 9th place Stephen Pollard III, 10th place William Duncan, on down through 11th. There's Jessica Shelton. She'll restart 13th. Sean Galligan in 14th. Austin LaPlante in 21st. James Qualls in 27th. Dylan Poteet in 31st. And then, of course, our chase drivers that are out of the race would have been Cole Daly and John Cittadino, joining Pichu London, Cody Lamas, Brandon Gonzalez, DJ Curtis, and Levi McIntyre. This is the battle for the lead right here between James McLeod and Chris Dollerton. McLeod's got that little bit of damage on the rear of his machine. I don't know if that hurts his car aerodynamically or not, but he is going to lose the top position. Chris Dollerton now to the lead. And now all these drivers ahead of him are on the tail end of the lead lap, and he's trying to put them a lap down. Benjamin Miles would be the first, and Dylan Poteet's just ahead of that. Highest running chaser, 13th on that restart, and that was Jessica Shelton. And Chris Dollerton now goes to work, trying to put some drivers a lap down as they're 3 wide up ahead of him. Driver up to second now is Tim Walsh there in the Maxwell House Toyota, trying to reel him in. Chris Dollerton all over the back bumper of his team owner, Michael Norman, as they're still racing side by side here. Chris Dollerton trying to use that inside line to take away any advantage of Tim Walsh trying to pass him. It looks like now Dollerton's going to start going to work here with a little more than 5 to go. He puts Benjamin Miles down a lap. Dylan Young's a lap down now. Michael Norman now falls a lap down. And that's going to put some distance between himself and Tim Walsh. And now Chris Dollerton trying to go to work on chaser Dylan Poteet. He gets the inside advantage heading into 3. And that's another lap machine between himself and Tim Walsh. Barring a caution flag, this looks like Chris Dollerton's race to lose, because he pitted back under our second caution, and that would mean he would be good to go the rest of the way on fuel. Now Johnny Gardner, the next car in line for Chris Dollerton. Keep in mind, all these cars are up to speed. They're not damaged, they just ended up falling way back here just in front of the leaders due to an untimely caution flag that took place during the middle of green flag pit stops. As now Chris Dollerton will look to the inside of Johnny Gardner and puts him a lap down. Ryan Acosta next in line. Trent Dunham, who restarted 7th, he's now up into the 3rd position, closing in on Tim Walsh. That'd be for 2nd. This team has had a pretty dismal last few weeks, which ended up knocking them out of championship contention. Remember, Trent Dunham was trying to become the first driver ever to win a Truck Series, Mobile Cup Series, and Snickers Cup Series championship in their career, but that's gone by the wayside now here as he's just trying to finish out the final Snickers Cup Series season as best he can. 3 victories this season for the one team. He's trying to look for his 4th. Right now he is tied with Jacob Lawler and Jessica Shelton for most wins this season at 3. Whoa, close there between Chris Dollerton and Joshua Collard as they almost made some contact. And now Dollerton goes to the inside of Ryan Acosta. Chaser James Qualls just up ahead of these two. And now Dollerton will let Acosta back in line. You look there and you got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars between the leader Chris Dollerton and the second place driver of Tim Walsh. So Dollerton right now just has to mind his P's and Q's around these machines up here who are going to be fighting tooth and nail not only to stay on the lead lap but try and pick up some spots here. A lot of these drivers are battling for position on track. James Qualls just picked up a hefty lump there, getting by Sean Henley and now going by Austin Mongold. Mongold's actually going to win Rookie of the Race again, and now DJ Curtis, and trying to battle for the championship in the rookie battle. He's really got a task on his hands now. He came in, I think it was 3 points back, and now he'll be 4 points back. I would say that for DJ Curtis, he either has to go on a major momentum roll and make sure he leads a few laps in this race. Either that, or he has to, wait a minute. Either that or he has to win a race. As James McLeod, Lyndon Wright, Tim Walsh all came to pit road. Those drivers couldn't make it apparently, and Chris Dollerton, who's on the white flag lap, apparently can. To the inside of James Qualls, doesn't really matter whether he passes Qualls or not. Chris Dollerton is going to pick up his 2nd win of the season, his 2nd win in 7 races, as he'll take the checker flag here today at Michigan International Speedway. Trent Dunham stretched it. He finishes 2nd. Michael stretched for 3rd. Danny Wells 4th. And 5th place was Seth Cole, and all those other drivers who got caught on the tail end of the lead lap way ahead of the leaders. They're going to move up some with some drivers that could not make it, including Walsh, McLeod, and Lyndon Wright. Apparently they didn't get their cars packed full of fuel, and they had the perfect opportunity to. If I think about it, too, when you think about it, I think that the first 3 cars off pit road, when all those 8 drivers came to pit road, were McLeod, Wright, and Walsh. I think they may have rushed their pit stops, and it's going to cost them here today. But Chris Dollerton, 2nd win of the season for that 33 team. It's the 4th win of the season for Michael Norman Motorsports. 2nd for Dollerton. Dougie Shears has 2 as well, and what a victory there for Chris. He's doing pretty well on these speedways. He ended up winning the first chase race at Chicagoland, wins here today at Michigan. And so now in 7 chase races, we've had 3 non-chasers go to victory lane, and that means that we do not yet have a confirmed driver into the final 4 for the championship hunt at Auto Club. Dollerton with the win. Trent Dunham, solid outing for him. This was definitely a run they needed. Comes a little too late for them to be able to battle for the championship, but still solid outing for the one in 2nd. Joshua Michaels there in 3rd. He led quite a few laps today, and he gets a solid run of 3rd place. Interesting too, he gave up the lead back on lap 7 to come down pit road, and he comes away with 3rd place. So that strategy apparently worked out very nicely for them. Danny Wells is going to get 4th place. Solid run for him as well. And then Seth Cole there in 5th place. So the Tweenix Racing drivers, 2nd, 4th, and 5th here today. Highest finishing chaser today was Sean Galligan in 9th place. So Sean Galligan, the consistency continues for that Hartlepool team as he'll finish out the day in 9th. Let's find out where the rest of our chasers end up finishing today's race. You got to go down to 16th place before you find Austin LaPlante. Jessica Shelton finished in 20th. James Qualls finished the first car lap down in 22nd place. Then you go a long ways down before you find 31st place Dylan Poteet. He didn't make up much ground there on that run of green flag laps. Dougie Shears, 2 laps down today in the 35th position. And then comes the Heartbreakers, John Cittadino and Cole Daly, 37th and 38th after today's event. Both drivers out of the race after today's second caution. So, the first race of the Eliminator round is in the books. Chris Dollerton is now a two-time winner this season, and we now have to find out what the scenario is going to look like heading into next week. The home of the Turn of Death, Thornton. Our final visit to Thornton, the second time this season, is on the horizon, and it's going to be really interesting because remember, that is a large road course, no caution flags. It's do or die probably for a lot of these Elite 8 chasers. Then of course we wrap up this round with the Talladega Superspeedway event, our penultimate round as Sean Galligan would say, where we will determine the final four that make it into this season's chase for the championship Final Four at Auto Club. Thank you all so much for watching today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We'll show you now your full finisher results from today's race at Michigan, as well as your rookie points. Austin Mongold will now have, I believe, a 4-point advantage over DJ Curtis heading into next week, as well as your overall points and your chase points heading into next week. If my calculations are correct, Sean Galligan will be the points leader here in the chase for the championship heading into next week. What the advantage will be, I don't know. We'll find out same time that you do. Thanks so much for watching, folks. We'll see you next week as the chase for the Snickers Cup Series Championship continues here on the NSRA Sports Channel. Offline racing at its best. Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the NSRA Sports and Gaming channel. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, be sure to give this video a like. If you want to join the crew today, be sure to hit up that subscribe button. And if you want to know what's going on in the world of NSRA for news and updates, check out the Facebook and Twitter links down below me. Once again, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys next time. I'm out.